Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first episode to Entrepreneurship Edge. I'm your host Randeep Singh, and today's episode is going to be super jam-packed with valuable insights, deep reflections, and game-changing lessons that I've learned. Recently, I had the incredible opportunity to sit down with two inspiring business leaders, Mr. Irfan and Miss Lynn. Let me tell you, their experiences and perspectives completely changed the way that I see entrepreneurship to this day. I wanted to take this episode to break down everything that I learned from them, not just in terms of business strategies, but also in terms of mindset, leadership, and resilience. Because here's the thing, entrepreneurship isn't just about having a great idea, it's about executing that idea, leading people, overcoming setbacks, and constantly evolving. If you've ever wondered what it really takes to build something meaningful, stick with me because I'm about to drop some really major takeaways that could shift your entire perspective. So, first things first, let's take a moment and let's talk about the power of passion and adaptability. One of the first things that really stood out to me in my conversation with Mr. Irfan was his sheer passion for what he does. Many people, or in business, many people start ventures just because they see an opportunity to make money. But passion is what really gets you going and what really keeps you going even when things get tough, right? Passion is what fuels those late nights, those problem-solving moments, and that determination to push forward, even when everything seems against you. Mr. Irfan shared a really powerful story about how he started his first business with nothing but an idea and a drive to make it work. He talked about the long nights, the early mornings, and the times where he almost gave up. But what kept it going was his genuine love for what he was building. He believed in his product, in his mission, and the impact that he wanted to create. That's something that we can all take a lesson from. But here's the catch. Passion alone isn't enough, right? Passion alone isn't enough for you to, make a whole full-scale business. You have to be adaptable. Miss Lynn emphasizes in a very, very powerful way. The market is always changing, consumer preferences, shifts, and industries just evolve. The businesses that thrive aren't necessarily the ones that start off the strongest, they're the ones that can pivot when needed. They're the ones that can embrace change rather than fear it. They're the ones that if they get caught in something really fast, they have the ability to adapt to it and they have the ability to overcome it. She shared an example of how her company had to completely shift their business model when the industry landscape changed. Instead of resisting the change, they embraced it. They learned from it, they adapt to it, and use it as an opportunity to grow. That flexibility is what made all the difference. So my first big takeaway from this is that find what drives you, right? Don't be so rigid that you can't adapt. Success in business isn't just about having a perfect plan, it's about being willing to adjust when things don't go as expected. Think about it. How many great companies have had to pivot? Netflix started as a DVD rental service, Amazon started as an online bookstore. The key is just being open to evolution. Just be open to adapt. Next, let's talk about the importance of strong leadership. Another huge lesson that I learned was about leadership. Both Mr. Irfan and Miss Lynn have led businesses through challenges, but what makes them stand out as leaders is how they handle obstacles. A great leader isn't just someone who gives orders, it's someone who listens, understands, and just teaches their teams. They lead by example. Mr. Irfan talks about how he builds strong relationships with his employees, making sure they feel valued and motivated. He shared a story about a time when his company was struggling, and instead of cutting costs and laying off employees, he sat down with his team and discussed the challenges openly. And they found really creative solutions to get through this rough patch all together. This is the kind of leadership that you need in order for you to build trust and loyalty, and this is the type of leadership that gets you through these hard times all together. Miss Lynn also added some really crucial points. Also added another crucial point, which is emotional intelligence. She talked about how understanding people, their motivations, and their struggles and their goals is what makes a business truly successful and what makes a leader a leader. If you can connect with your team and create an environment where they feel supported, they'll go above and beyond for you, right? They'll feel more than like, oh, I'm at a job. They'll feel more like I'm actually doing this because I want to do this rather than, oh, I'm at a job because I'm getting paid. And this reality really stuck with me because let's be real. When we think about leadership, we often picture a CEO sitting at a high-rise office making decisions from afar. But in reality, great leadership comes from the ground. It happens in the way you communicate, the way you handle conflicts, and the way you inspire others. Leadership is about lifting people up, not just telling them what to do, right? It's about being there for them and not just, telling them, all right, listen, do this, do this, do this. So another key takeaway that I wanted to talk about was the role of resilience in entrepreneurship. So resilience in entrepreneurship is something that every entrepreneur has to face at some point in their life, and it's failure, right? Not just setbacks, but real gut-wrenching failure that makes you question everything. Mr. Irfan shared a story about a time when things didn't go as planned. His business was doing well, but the major deal fell through, leaving his company in a really tough financial position. Instead of panicking, he used it as an opportunity to reassess and rebuild. He made tough decisions, adjusted his strategy, and came out stronger than the other one on the other side. Mrs. Lin puts it the best. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every mistake, every challenge, every roadblock is a lesson in disguise. Instead of letting failure define you, use it as fuel to push forward. And this reality really hit home for me because, let's be honest, fear of failure holds so many people back. As I've said in the introduction episode, the fear of failure and the fear of the 24/7 grind was what really held me back from DECA, but in the end, it turned out to be a really crucial thing and a really important thing for me. We hesitate, we second guess ourselves, and sometimes we don't even take the first step because we're afraid of what could go wrong. But after hearing these stories from people who have really built their lives and really pushed past it, and they're thriving businesses and everything, I realized something. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who don't let failure stop them. They're the ones who fall but rise back up. They're the ones who get stopped, the ones who get slapped across the face, but they come back. They bounce right back. One of my favorite examples from this is Walt Disney. Did you know that he was once fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination? Or that his first animation company went bankrupt? Imagine if he had let that failure stop him. We wouldn't have Disney where it was. We wouldn't have Cinderella. We wouldn't have Sleeping Beauty. We wouldn't have any of these movies. The same goes for Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, and countless other successful entrepreneurs that we see in today's time. They didn't give up when things got tough. They adapted, learned, and pushed forward. They bounced back from the failure. So I just want to let's wrap this up with some closing thoughts, right? So I hope these takeaways from my conversation with Mr. Irfan and Miss Lin have really resonated with you as much as they did with me, and you really did take away something from this as much as I did. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's that entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not about having all the answers right away, but it's about being willing to learn, grow, and evolve and adapt. As you navigate your own path, whether you're just starting to think about business or you're already working on something, I want you to remember to stay passionate, but be adaptable, be a leader who listens and values emotional intelligence, and most importantly, embrace failure as part of the process. That's all for today's episode about entrepreneurship. If you found these about the Entrepreneurship Edge, if you found these insights valuable, please make sure to subscribe and share this podcast with others who you might think take a little bit of inspiration. And if you have a story, lesson, challenge, anything that you like to overcome or anything that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from all of you. Please feel free to reach out and do not feel shy. I'm super nice and I'll always hit you back. I genuinely enjoy hearing about other people's journeys and learning from all of you and all of your experiences. So please feel free to reach out to me. All my contacts and socials are all in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pushing forward, keep learning, and keep chasing your edge in the world of business. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.